There is a lie so deeply rooted in human existence that almost no one realizes they are living inside it. The belief that this life truly belongs to us. In reality, most people never live at all. They merely postpone the inevitable encounter with themselves. They work to avoid silence. They seek company to escape their own thoughts. They fill every empty space with ambition, pleasure, routines, and distractions, hoping constant movement will keep them from noticing the quiet void growing beneath everything they do. Yet the void never disappears. It waits. No achievement can satisfy it. No relationship can dissolve it. No success is powerful enough to silence the strange feeling that something essential is missing, even when life appears complete. From childhood, we are conditioned to distrust despair. We are taught that happiness is the natural state of existence, and that suffering is nothing more than a temporary detour. Every culture, every religion, every ideal whispers the same promise. Your pain has a purpose. Your future holds redemption. And one day, everything will make sense. Emil Cioran spent his entire life exposing this promise as humanity's most comforting illusion. He believed that hope survives for the same reason dreams survive. Both protect us from seeing reality without its disguises. The mind invents meanings because consciousness struggles to endure a universe that remains utterly indifferent to its existence. We call these inventions purpose, destiny, or faith. Cioran simply called them necessary illusions. His philosophy offers nothing to believe in. No salvation, no hidden wisdom, no path toward inner peace. Instead, it strips away every illusion that shields us from ourselves. First, certainty vanishes. Then purpose. Finally, even hope begins to dissolve, leaving nothing except a solitary consciousness confronting the unbearable fact of its own existence. Few thinkers had the courage to remain in that darkness. Cioran did. He once described his writing as a postponed suicide, each page another way of surviving without lying to himself. His books do not teach, they confess. They speak with the voice of someone who has looked directly into existence and found no divine order waiting behind the chaos. Throughout this video, we will not search for hidden optimism in his words, because there is none. We will follow Cioran exactly where his philosophy leads, toward a world where suffering is ordinary, loneliness is fundamental, and the deepest form of lucidity begins only after every comforting illusion has died. For Emil Cioran, there comes a moment when every answer humanity has ever created suddenly loses its power. Not because those answers have been disproved, but because existence itself becomes heavier than any explanation we can invent. There are experiences that thought cannot organize, suffering that language cannot contain, and nights so unbearable that philosophy becomes nothing more than another fragile illusion. It was from this abyss that on the heights of despair was born. Cioran did not write from a place of intellectual curiosity. He wrote from insomnia, from exhaustion, from the terrifying clarity that emerges when the mind can no longer escape itself. Sleep abandons you. Silence becomes oppressive. Every distraction collapses. All that remains is consciousness, staring endlessly into its own emptiness. To Cioran, suffering possesses a depth that happiness can never reach. Joy is accidental. It depends on favorable circumstances, on fragile moments that vanish almost as soon as they arrive. Pain is different. It strips away every role we play. It tears through our identities, our ambitions, and our beliefs until nothing remains except the naked reality of what we are. That is why despair fascinated him. In despair, there is nothing left to defend. No comforting narrative survives. No future promises redemption. Even time itself begins to lose its meaning. Life is no longer experienced as progress towards something greater. It becomes an endless confrontation with the mystery of simply existing. Most people spend their lives fleeing this realization. They bury themselves in work, relationships, entertainment, or faith, desperate to avoid the unbearable weight of their own awareness. Cioran chose the opposite. He remained inside the darkness long enough to discover that despair is not merely an emotion. It is a form of vision, a merciless state in which every illusion dissolves, revealing existence in its most exposed and indifferent form. Perhaps that is why his words continue to disturb us. They force us to consider the possibility that the moments we fear the most are also the moments when we are least deceived about what it truly means to be alive. According to Emil Cioran, one of humanity's greatest tragedies is not suffering itself. It is our relentless refusal to accept that suffering may be inseparable from existence. From the beginning of our lives, we are taught to believe that fulfillment lies somewhere ahead. A better career, a lasting love, financial security, inner peace. We become prisoners of the next achievement, convinced that one final victory will quiet the restlessness that follows us through every stage of life. It never does. The desire simply changes its shape. Cioran believed this endless pursuit reveals something disturbing about human nature. We are not chasing happiness because we have found traces of it in the world. We chase it because we cannot bear the possibility that life has no obligation to satisfy us. Happiness becomes less a reality than a psychological defense against despair, a fragile fiction protecting us from the terrifying neutrality of existence. In On the Heights of Despair, Cioran writes, "Tears have deeper roots than smiles." This is far more than an observation about emotion. It is a statement about consciousness itself. Joy touches only the surface of our lives. Suffering reaches places where identity begins to dissolve. It exposes our dependence on illusions, reminding us that beneath every ambition, every belief, and every dream lies the same vulnerable creature, condemned to seek permanence in a world where everything fades. For Cioran, happiness is fleeting because life itself is unstable. Everything we love carries the certainty of loss. Every beginning already contains its ending. Time quietly dismantles every attachment until nothing remains except memory. And eventually, even memory disappears. Perhaps this is why Cioran never asked how we could become happier. The real question was far more unsettling. Why do we continue demanding from existence what existence has never promised to give? The moment that expectation dies, the world does not become brighter. It simply becomes more honest. Once the illusion of lasting happiness begins to fade, a far more disturbing question emerges. What remains when existence no longer justifies itself? For Emil Cioran, this is the question that every conscious human being eventually encounters, whether they admit it or not. We spend our lives searching for reasons to exist because the alternative is almost impossible to endure. We long to believe that our birth was necessary, that our suffering serves a hidden purpose, and that somewhere beyond the visible world, there is an explanation capable of redeeming the chaos of being alive. Cioran refused every one of these consolations. To him, meaning was not something humanity discovered. It was something humanity invented. Consciousness, unable to tolerate the silence of the universe, created stories that transformed uncertainty into purpose and accident into destiny. The deeper our fear of the void became, the more elaborate our illusions had to be. In On the Heights of Despair, he writes, "For the animal, life is an absolute. For man, it is a question." That single sentence exposes the tragedy of human existence. Animals simply exist. They do not demand explanations from the universe. Human beings, however, possess a consciousness that constantly turns life into a problem waiting to be solved. Yet the more intensely we question existence, the less it answers. The universe remains indifferent. Time continues its slow erosion of everything we love. Death advances with perfect patience, untouched by our hopes, fears, or beliefs. For Cioran, this is the true absurdity of being alive. Not that life lacks meaning, but that only human beings are cursed with the need to search for one. Perhaps our greatest burden is not mortality itself. It is awareness. To become fully conscious is to realize that existence owes us nothing. No explanation, no justice, no final revelation, only silence. And sometimes, silence is the most honest answer the universe can give. If life offers no final meaning, if happiness is only a passing interruption, if every certainty eventually collapses beneath the weight of time, then what remains? Most people would answer with hope. Cioran answered with lucidity. This is where his philosophy becomes almost unbearable. He never asked us to overcome despair, nor did he believe suffering was a condition waiting to be cured. To escape despair was simply to postpone the truth. Pain is not a flaw in existence. It is woven into its very fabric. To exist is to lose, to decay, to watch everything we love move steadily toward disappearance. In On the Heights of Despair, Cioran writes, "There are truths which can only be grasped after suffering." For him, suffering was never a punishment. It was revelation. Comfort keeps consciousness asleep. It persuades us that the world is stable, that tomorrow belongs to us, and that permanence is possible. Despair destroys those illusions without mercy. It forces us to see life stripped of its disguises, where every certainty reveals itself as temporary, and every attachment carries the shadow of its own ending. This is why Cioran never romanticized hope. Hope encourages us to negotiate with reality. Lucidity demands that we look at reality exactly as it is. That vision comes with a terrible price. The more clearly we understand existence, the more isolated we become. No one can fully enter another person's consciousness. Every human being remains imprisoned within an interior world that cannot truly be shared. We speak, we love, we confess. Yet something essential always remains unreachable. This is the solitude Cioran describes, not the absence of people, the impossibility of escaping oneself. And yet, he continued to write, perhaps because he understood that while lucidity cannot save us, it can free us from the final illusion, the belief that truth exists to comfort those who seek it. Perhaps humanity's greatest mistake has never been that we suffer. Perhaps it is that we cannot stop believing suffering should have an explanation. Emil Cioran devoted his life to confronting a possibility most people spend their entire existence avoiding. That reality may be infinitely more indifferent than we are willing to admit. We search for meaning because consciousness cannot endure emptiness for long. We create beliefs, ideals, and promises, not because the universe has revealed them to us, but because silence terrifies us more than illusion. Yet silence never disappears. It waits beneath every certainty. Every success eventually fades into memory. Every love carries the certainty of separation. Every body moves, from the moment it is born, toward decay. Time does not negotiate. Death does not hesitate. The universe remains perfectly untouched by our victories, our tragedies, or our desperate need to matter. Cioran refused to look away from this reality. He believed that the deepest form of honesty begins when every comforting illusion has been exhausted. What survives after that is neither hope nor despair in their ordinary sense. It is a strange clarity, one that no longer asks existence to justify itself. The need for answers slowly dies, leaving only the raw experience of being conscious inside a world that offers none. There is something almost spiritual in this surrender. Not the spirituality that promises salvation or eternal purpose, but the silent recognition that existence remains an unfathomable mystery. The closer we move toward its center, the less we understand, and the more we realize that perhaps understanding was never possible. maybe this is the final lesson Cioran leaves behind. Life does not become tragic because it ends. It becomes tragic because consciousness allows us to witness every passing moment while knowing nothing can be preserved. And perhaps true lucidity begins when we finally stop asking reality to comfort us, accepting that the universe has never spoken to humanity at all. It has only remained silent. Always. If this video made you question something you've always taken for granted, then it has already fulfilled its purpose. If you'd like to go even deeper, consider becoming a channel member. You'll help keep these videos alive while getting access to exclusive content and supporting a library of more than 100 videos exploring philosophy, psychology, and the darkest corners of human existence. You can also support the channel instantly with super thanks. Every contribution, no matter the size, helps make the next video possible. But truly, if you simply watched until the end, left a like, or shared this video with someone who needs to hear it, you've already done more than you might realize. Thank you for being part of this journey.